Let's do some Florida news.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
We start in the prisons of Florida, my friends. Yes, normally an ugly place, prison. You know where no one wants to end up there. But Ghislane Maxwell, you know her from the Jeffrey Epstein Association.
How could we forget
She's
her?
behind bars. How could you forget her?
Hello, I'm with the Jeffrey Epstein Association. Do you have a moment? Can I
speak to you about a sponsorship?
Yeah.
I'm with the Jeffrey Epstein Association. Ghislane Maxwell's life behind bars is hardly bleak, they say, as the sought-after ex-socialite strolls with a prison pal. She's chosen to lead the Battle of Units checkers competition and guides inmates to the best romance books in the library.
The Battle of Units?
Well, I guess they break the prison up into units, John. And I hope
they
you never
shiv each other?
I hope you never have to know this firsthand. But yeah, there are shivs involved, as a matter of fact.
She's running her unit, huh?
Yeah, and it's just
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol.
No, there's not supposed to be any alcohol in the prison, but she's at a low-security federal correctional institute in Tallahassee, Florida. She's surrounded herself with influential inmate friends to ensure her protection. So even in prison, she's making associations and alliances that will stand her in good stead.
So these are like prison influencers?
Yes, they are prison influencers. Very good. Well-placed sources at the prison told reporters that the disgraced socialite works just 6 hours a day in the library and has daily access to an array of sporting facilities, pottery sessions, and board game tournaments.
So it's like the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, well, it's, I think, a little... It's more redemption than Shawshank prison.
They have a pottery studio in prison?
Well, I'll remind you, it's a low security federal institution. By the way, those are usually, often, without fencing. Like you can literally just walk off.
No.
But, this just in, if you do walk off and they recapture you, and then you're doing some additional time, and guess what? You're not doing it at a low security prison anymore. They're going to bump you up.
No more pottery for you.
No more pottery for you, exactly. There is everything from kickball to hula hoop. Hula hoop. Wow. I wonder who picks the activities. Is there like a prison activities director there in Florida?
Yeah, with the clipboard.
Yeah. There's everything from kickball to hula hoop, they say, but she was selected for the 40 and over checkers. The winning unit is rewarded with a really good meal like chicken wings and pizza. That's considered a gourmet delicacy compared to the unusual food they are served.
That 30-something checker group is really tough. It's hard to compete.
You want to play in your bracket when it comes to checkers groups. You're absolutely right about that. Maxwell has also befriended high-profile prisoners, including infamous double murderer Nancy Novak. How about that? Oh, there's a double murderer applause. Great. She's 65 years old. Also, con woman Linda Murrow helped her plastic surgeon bilk insurers out of millions. So she's got a fraudster in the world of plastic surgery, and she's got a double murderer in the world of Narcy Novak.
Well, they can all share tips,
Yeah. And Ghislane maybe, she rounds out the roster. That's what's happening in Tallahassee, Florida. Meantime, the most shared story from our viewers and listeners came from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A gun was found inside a raw chicken. This happened at an airport in Florida. TSA officials actually posted it on Instagram, and they literally found a gun inside a raw chicken that somebody was bringing through TSA.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
I mean, I don't think it has any chance.
I didn't even know you could bring a raw chicken.
Through, exactly. Well,
isn't that immediate flag for extra security measures on you? I don't know.
Yeah, right. I mean,
don't worry, it's half cooked. It's half cooked.
Right.
I mean, if you can't bring your fruit and vegetables, you certainly chicken.
Yeah, there's a picture of the chicken with the gun. If you're looking, you can see it on YouTube. A record number of more than 700 guns have been discovered just at Florida airports this year. The fine, by the way, for getting caught with a gun at the airport. The fine for getting caught with a gun at the airport. I ask you in the chat room. You're caught with a gun at the airport trying to get through security. What is the fine? The top fine, what is it? $5,000, says Julie. 1,000, says Michelle. Anybody? Oh, 1,000, says Kathleen.
More than
John
the cost
says
of a Costco
10,000.
chicken.
Yeah. Seems like a bad deal to get caught at all. But what is the top fine if you do get caught at an airport? Grady says 2,000. Natalie says 5,000. Nick says 500 for the first offense. Billy says $10. Let me just pay the fine. I'm late for my flight. It's Florida, $100, says Karen Q. The actual answer is $14,000, everybody. Yeah, that's what it will cost you, the top fine.
$14,000. Wow.
Yeah.
If it was the cost of a parking ticket, people would just pay it.
No, that's exactly right. They kind of don't want you to bring guns on. This just in.
Who knew?
Yeah. The winner of the Florida Python Challenge has been announced, everyone, and I'm so very honored to be able to share the news with you. It's a 19-year-old from South Florida who wrangled 28 snakes in the Everglades.
That's it?
That's not enough? 28 pythons?
Highly unimpressive.
Oh, well,
It's not even a round number.
I'm a bit taken aback, actually, but
I've told you it's never easy being in this business.
Yeah, you round up 28 pythons and still you get that kind of reaction from our crowd. Matthew Concepcion, congratulacion, is what I would say to you. And his quote is, "I'm still on cloud 9 about it." Couldn't believe it. For a period of 10 days, the teen from Palmetto Bay, Florida, was determined to hunt from sundown to sunup. It gets rough out there for sure, he said. Yeah. You start hallucinating out there, just looking and looking.
I've told you it's never easy being in this business.
He's on cloud 9 because he hasn't been eaten by a python.
Well, that's true, too. You do have to dodge a lot of danger. He's been hunting pythons for the past 5 years and has been bitten 5 times, to your point, John. Their teeth retract backward, so you have to let them bite you, he says, and you either pour alcohol in their mouth or you pray that it lets you go. Wow. So
what did they do with it?
That there's alcohol involved.
No, there's alcohol involved. You get bitten, and maybe some before you get bitten.
What do they do with the 28 snakes they catch? Do they release them back into the wild, or do
put
they
them on a plane?
Send them to Martha's Vineyard. That's right.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I do think that they're an invasive species, so I'm guessing nothing good happens with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ecosystem there is affected negatively by pythons. This is an exotic creature that was taken from some other place, brought here by people, and now is all over the Everglades and is an invasive
You ask for
species.
papers and you send them back.
Yeah, exactly. What is he going to do with the $10,000 grand prize that Concepcion took home? The answer is, quote, "I'll probably just buy new lights for my truck with the prize money." Oh, good.
There you go.
Well, you want to be able to see the python in front of your truck.
Yeah, you want to. I like the. I was trying to get to thank you so much. Maybe thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you exactly for the Florida python. A Florida man pretends to be Irish while committing fraud. This is from Panama City, Florida. This guy arrested after committing multiple fraudulent transactions while pretending to be an Irish national. Kim had that story earlier about the guy pretending that he was a customs and border agent.
Yeah,
Remember?
an
You just
ICE
did that
agent
story.
tried to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this guy, I mean, who doesn't believe a guy with an Irish accent? You're preoccupied by that. You know, you're listening to the
that's
accent.
true.
You're thinking, oh, you're cute, and I like the way you talk.
The following, he used the fake name, used a notarized promissory note stating that he would repay loans. He won the position of HOA Board of Directors president. So he fooled a lot of people with this thing. Who would have thought pretending to be Irish would be a thing?
Imagine his St. Patrick's Day party.
Yeah, he has to go super big just to convince people, right? There were remains unearthed in Florida because of the tropical weather disturbances. Tropical Storm Nicole unearthed human remains.
Or Nikki.
Nikki is for short. Yeah. You know, they should downgrade when they downgrade the storm, they should change the name and downgrade it to like a nickname.
Yeah. Make it
Tropical
easy.
storm blew through Florida today. I mean, this is written on Thursday, yesterday. Revealed something that had been concealed, human remains on an island. Officials say the high surf led to the remains being visible. Investigators said a beachgoer found 6 human skulls and several small bones. That had to be a nice walk on the beach. Yeah.
Did they find a buried car?
Yeah. How about that? Wouldn't that be nice? Remains were found in the same area following Hurricane Dorian in 2019 and Hurricane Sandy in 2012. They think it was a Native American burial ground. Yeah, no kidding. Probably. A large section of the shuttle Challenger was found on the ocean floor in Florida. It was buried in the sand at the bottom of the Atlantic more than 3 decades after the tragedy that killed a schoolteacher and 6 others. NASA announced the discovery just yesterday, and they say a lot of the emotions associated with that day are coming back. It's one of the biggest pieces of Challenger found in the decades since the accident, according to NASA.
It was a significant chunk.
Yeah, apparently that's right. And then finally, what do you like finally? The chase, the cane. What do you like, John?
I like the cane.
All right. The cane it is. Here we go. As chosen by John Daly.
Fabulous producer, John Daly.
A legally blind Florida man is arrested when his cane is confused for a gun.
Oh.
The Columbia County Sheriff said the October 31st arrest of James Hodges, who was legally blind, was unacceptable. 2 of his deputies faced suspension without pay over this. He was arrested and accused of resisting an officer without violence, according to the arrest report. Also, there's body cam video of his detainment. And he's got this cane. It's one of those foldable canes. I don't know what the issue was, but...
Sounds like the officers are legally blind.
Yeah, it wasn't inside a chicken or anything. It was not like he was trying to smuggle it anywhere is the point. But they thought it was a gun, and so they nailed him. We have to choose a favorite among these, because I have to wrap up, don't I? Or do I have time for one more?
You can do one more.
Oh, good. I want to do this Florida story, the last one here. Florida man faces decades in prison for allegedly selling a bomb to an undercover cop. He sold the bomb for $800. I love the numbers in Florida when people are working some kind of scam. They're usually so low because people are just trying to get enough money to do whatever, He sold a pipe bomb that he built at his house to an undercover detective for $800. James John Hall is his name, 34 years old, from Ziffarillas, Florida. He was arrested this week after the cops working with an FBI task force said that he told a confidential informant that he was in possession of a homemade pipe bomb. And it could be purchased for $800. And there are only a few left. Get them now. The confidential source said they became acquainted with Hall last year when he sold them marijuana. Oh, it's nice. He has a full-service sales organization. He showed a photo of the bomb, consisted of 3 or 4 plastic jars taped together and painted with camouflage. I'm looking at it now. It's not the most impressive rig. I can see why it was only $800.
There's It's still a discount price, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's he is
maybe
facing
$7.99.
One count of unlicensed distribution of explosive materials, one count of possession of an unregistered destructive device, and one count of unlawful making of a destructive device. So,
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
well, it's the one count of distribution, one count of possession, and one count of unlawful making. So, we must choose a favorite. Well, I'll review them for you again, and we can review them in the chat room. You can pick out a favorite. The first is Ghislane Maxwell, her cushy regimen at that Florida prison. She's hanging out with the high-end criminals, double murderers, and fraudsters. She's leading the Checkers unit to victory, the 40-plus Checkers unit. TSA finds a gun hidden inside a raw chicken at a Tallahassee airport. A teenager wrangles 28 snakes. He's winner of Florida's Python Challenge. A Florida man pretends to be Irish while committing fraud. Human remains unearthed after the tropical storm Nicole, and a large section of the Space Shuttle Challenger found as well. Those are two different stories. A legally blind Florida man arrested when the cane is confused for a gun. And then, finally, decades in prison for a Florida man who tried to sell a bomb to undercover cops for $800. What's your favorite? In the chat room, we will look. Help me. Snake Boy for Billy. Guns in the Chicken for Liz L. Mike Garcia says chicken. I think chicken's going to win this, if I had to. Gun and Chicken from Joe. Snake Boy from Joanne. Snake Boy, come on, it's wholesome. There is a weird reptilian wholesome quality to it. I agree with that. Lisa Howell, it's in the chicken. Now I ask you in the assembled group here. You need to pick a favorite. Kim, please, first.
I'm going to buck the trend, and I'm going to go with Ghislane leading the prison unit in the Overworkers Champion.
Yeah.
I mean, how absurd and asinine that someone who's committed such crimes
The
gets
Checkers
to
unit.
do pottery,
Yeah, the Checkers
hula hoop,
unit.
and checkers in prison.
That sounds like a franchise spinoff of
unhappy
like
time?
SVU.
It
Come
does.
on.
The Checkers unit.
How about you, John? What do you
Fabulous
think?
producer John
I'm
Daly.
partial to Irish fraud, as someone named.
Oh,
John
that's
Daly.
cool. Being John Daly, you'd almost have to be. That's right. Tony, what about you?
Thanks, Tony.
Part of me says the chicken, just because, like, how'd you think you're... It's still a
You're
raw
gonna get away with
chicken,
it.
man.
Yeah,
Airport,
it's just weird. Like, yeah, why could you have found something... Right, could you have found something more high profile to put it in? Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, you know, radio waves can't get through chicken skin, Mark. Everyone knows that.
That's it.
I got to go with the chicken, too. So, anyway, thanks, everybody who played. That's... where's my Friday Fabulous Florida close? There it is. Okay.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now, here.